Well, this is an NZRCA update, and I'm catching up with the 1984 New Zealand Radio Cowboys Association Rope and Tie champion, Mr. Murray Whitwell. How are you, Murray?
Good, thank you. Yeah, pleased to see you again.
Yeah, it's always good.
Yep.
So, Murray, we've had some interesting episodes, caught up with a lot of people you know as well and stuff like that, but let's all start where your rodeo career actually started in New Zealand.
Well, my rodeo career started, I got keen on rodeo when I was a kid because I went to a couple of rodeos with my parents and watched it, and so I was already keen. And then when I was about 16, I was working on a station called Bluff Station at Kikarangi, and the head stockman there was a Frank Osborne, his name was, and he was an old bareback rider, and he taught me to ride steers and cows and that, and we practiced out in the yards and that. And that's when I got keen on rodeo, and I was practicing there. And when I was 17, he took me to Turmarina Rodeo, which was an open bullock ride and a novice bullock ride, and I won them both at my first ever rodeo.
There you go.
Yeah, so thanks, Frank.
So what? So you started off in the rough stock.
Started off in the rough stock. Yeah, I was just interested in steers and bulls. I wasn't very good on bulls, but I used to love getting on them. And but in New Zealand, they had the 3 novice events, and so you did the 3 novice events. You know, there was no just doing one. You did the novice bareback, novice saddle, and the novice steer ride at every rodeo. Yeah.
And when did you kind of move into going to the time event end?
Oh, when I was later on in my career, when I moved down south and I was working around Glen Airy Station, I met a fellow called Barry Cox down there, and I was talking to him about roping, and he said, "Come down home," and he had two calves on a cow, and he used to let me rope him on his horse, but I didn't catch him very often, and he'd have the gate open at the other end, and it used to take us an hour to go and get them back in so I could have another run, you know.
Yep.
And he got me keen, you know, and got me swinging a rope and that. And then from there I went to Laurie Ladders every spare chance I had, Laurie and Jenny's, and he helped me with me roping there and got me going good, yeah.
So what year was your first time you made the NZRCA finals?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, it would have been in the 80, you know, about 80 or something, you know. 80? Yeah.
So
I used to make the calf roping most years.
Yeah.
And the steer wrestling some years.
Yeah, and then 84 was when you really knuckled down.
Yeah, won the calf roping title in 84. Yeah, which was good.
And you used to travel north quite a lot too.
Yeah,
from
I
the
used
South
to.
Island.
Yeah, I used to go up the North Island a lot, and when I went up the North Island, I used to use Merv Church's horse and Tamataraki's horse.
Yep.
And when I was up there, I used to start Tama and Arrow's place at Ruwhakauru.
Yep.
And Merv, I used to hang out with him too. We'd go pig hunting a bit, and he had a lot of sheep dogs, which I was interested in dog trial and that. So I had a lot in common with Merv as well as rodeo.
Yep.
So that was good. And one of my memories when I was at Tama, he got onto a dairy farm and he lent us about 30 calves, old Jersey calves, you know. And Corey, Merv's son, was only about 12 then, and he used to come over on a little grey pony and rope these calves, you know. Right. And I thought, oh, he's going to be a roper one day too. But when the farmer got his heifers back that we'd been roping, he thought they were the best they ever broke in because none of them ever kicked, you know.
Yeah, right.
So Tama, I think he had an endless supply of calves for a while.
Yeah. And what, from, like, obviously the runs are a little bit different now compared to when you were rodeoing in New Zealand. What did you have a favourite rodeo in New Zealand at that stage? It was something that you always liked going to, or?
Oh, I just liked any rodeo. You know, it was in my blood. I didn't care where the rodeo was. I just wanted to be there, you know.
Yep.
And it was like a big family, like cowboys are your family, you know. And so I didn't care if I was at Invercargill Rodeo, Motuaga, Ruwhakauru, anywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Wanganui, as long as I was at a rodeo, I was happy, you know.
And is that one of your fondest memories of New Zealand rodeo, the family side of things of the sport?
Yeah, I reckon it was, because everyone knew each other and everyone helped each other. And we had some wonderful times. You know, like back in the day, there'd be one campfire at the rodeo and everyone was around it, you know. And nowadays, worse luck, things are a bit more segregated, you know. People do their own little deals, you know, which takes a bit of it away, I think, you know.
Yeah. And you travelled with Danny McCautry quite a lot?
Yeah, when I was living in Amarama, I was casual mustering around Amarama, and Danny was a good friend of mine there. And we travelled, did a lot of rodeos together, and that was when I was doing the rough stock, you know, before I started roping. And so we did a lot of miles together, hard yards, and Skip Johnson, he was another fellow that lived in Amarama before he went to Glen Eyrie, and he used to help me too with me riding and getting me going, yeah.
And sure. What, from your rodeo before you moved to Australia, who were some of the competitors that really stood out to you at that era that really, that were just great to compete against and etc.?
Well, one of my best friends is Ian Nicol from Clark's Junction, and I lived at his place with him and Sue at their place for about 3 years. And he was terrific. We practiced every day we got a chance, you know. We roped calves and bulldog steers, and we had a lot of practice. And the other one would be Laurie Ladder. He helped me a lot, you know, and he was great help to me. And Skip Johnson at Glen Eyrie, you know, like he used to, when I was bucking out horses, his wife used to pull the flank and he'd open the gate, you know, and I always had 3 or 4 practice horses, you know, and I'd get on them 2 or 3 times a week, you know.
And so you moved to Australia, when was that, about in the mid-80s sometime then?
In 1986, it was just after the Outram finals.
Okay.
So I watched my good friend Danny win the bull riding title, and Vernon McVicker won the calf roping title. I was hoping to win another one, but he beat me. And but he is a good mate of mine too, Vernon. And so I moved over and bought one of my horses with me, a horse called Fons. And I had a good bulldogging horse in New Zealand called Nevada, and I sold him, and that paid to get the Fons over to Australia.
So where did that steer wrestling horse go?
He was sold to a fella up the North Island, a fella Bone, I think his name was, and he carved him for years, and I think he went on to win another couple of steer wrestling titles, like Bulldogging Horse of the Year, And he was a horse I bought when I was at Glen Eyrie Station. He was out of one of the Glen Eyrie station mares by an infused quarter horse, Debo Flit horse.
Yeah, okay.
And I was lucky to buy him because when all the horses were galloping, he was always out in front, this little chestnut horse. And the boss said he's too small for a mustering horse, you know. And I said, well, I'd love to have him, so he let me buy him, you know.
Yeah, okay.
And he turned out a good horse. So.
And then you moved to Australia. Then you've won quite a lot of titles since when you moved to Australia too, didn't you? It's like you won. I won the NRA title in '93, team roping. Yep. And also in '93, the Western Australia, a fellow called Grant Edwards took a rodeo up to Malaysia, and we did 3 or 4 rodeos up there, and I ended up winning the calf roping title up there and the all-round in Malaysia. So yeah, that was an exciting time. That would have been.
And I just caught up with Grant a few weeks ago over in Perth, so it was great to catch up with him. But the funny thing about Malaysia, all the horses were in the jungle. And the bulls and that, and we had to stand there with sticks and try and keep the monkeys away from eating all their feed, because the monkeys would come out of the tree and try and eat all the tucker, you know. Yeah, so that was interesting.
So you've had a pretty interesting career. Like a lot of our viewers that haven't seen you for a while, like things changed a lot. Yeah, you know, you got married, you got a family, and all. It's pretty much been involved with your family too, with rodeo world.
Yeah, when I was in New Zealand, I didn't have any time for romance much because I was too busy drinking, and I didn't have enough time to go to the pictures in Old Anne. So it wasn't until I come to Australia and I met my wife Sandra, and on a blind date, mind you, and we got 2 children, Cheyenne and Tom, which have turned out champions. Cheyenne's won about 38 titles, and my son's won about 15. You know, so. And rodeo's been a part of my whole family. My wife used to breakaway rope a lot too, and her and I actually won a round at Caboolture finals 1 year team roping.
Oh,
so,
wow!
Yeah,
that is pretty cool.
So so it's been a family thing, and I worked in the mines when I come over here, but I used to train a lot of horses, and that's how I bought my little farm, just training horses and selling them, and wheeling and dealing. Yeah. Laurie Ladder taught me how to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So what would your advice be for a young person that wants to get into rodeo, and your advice of kind of getting good at it or going the right directions, you think?
Well, if someone wants to get into the time events or something, look up to the champions and try and get them to guide you, and do every school you can do. If it doesn't matter who runs a school, you can learn one little thing, it's going to help you, you know.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of schools when I was young, you know. I did in New Zealand, I did Bluey Turner and the Harley May steerers in schools, you know, and did bronc riding school with Jock McDowell. He was a collegiate champion. And so I've always done schools, and then I've done schools over here with Walt Woodard and that from America and other ones, and so do as many schools as you can and look up to people that know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah.
And some people can teach, and some people can't. I'm lucky I can teach people to rope.
Yeah.
And I'm still tutoring people now. Actually, next weekend even I've got 2 girls coming they can rope, but they're just not winning, so I've got to try and get them winning so they can rope quicker, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been my life helping people, and sometimes my wife's annoyed with me because there's people here all the time roping, and she gets sick of penning up, but that's just who I am, you know. Yeah.
And do you think that's like rodeo's just given you just a great life, really? Like it's evolved you as a person and.
Great life, you know, and met some great people, you know, travelled. I've been all around New Zealand rodeoing, I've been all around Australia rodeoing, and you don't have to go in a camper van touring around, just go to a rodeo because you're seeing the country everywhere, you know, so it's really good, yeah.
And so what, so nowadays you're kind of retired and stuff like that, but you still do a fair bit of little competing. You're heading to one tomorrow here?
Yeah, I'm team roping tomorrow with my daughter and another young girl called Bridie from Warwick, and she's a pretty good little header too. And I think I've made the finals every year since I've come over here except one.
Yeah.
And last year I even made the finals again, NRO, and I'm going to make the finals again this year, team roping. So I enjoy that.
Yeah.
And enjoy roping with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I do now is I play golf twice a week.
Yeah, Danny McCautry tells me, so he doesn't call you when it's golf day.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, even yesterday I got second in a competition out of 40. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was always competitive at rodeo, but I'm competitive at golf too. So
it's just part of who you are, really.
Yeah, well, I enjoy golf, and I play with 2 fellas in their 80s, and one fella in his late 70s. And when I hit a good shot, they say, "Good shot, boy." So I love playing with them because I'm the youngest.
Yeah. So, you know, I was telling you a few stories beforehand, like from the time you left New Zealand and the crowds that they're getting and stuff like that for rodeos, you'd be pretty proud about that whole deal and how big it's grown with the popularity here in New Zealand and stuff, wouldn't you?
Oh, I've heard great reports from New Zealand, you know, and I've been trying to get my kids to go back there for Christmas for the last few years. Hopefully one year they'll go back there and enjoy it like I did. When they were little kids, we went back once, and Thomas, my boy, won every potty ride in the South Island that we did, and my daughter won every sheep ride.
There you go.
Yeah, and my daughter beat Danny McCautry in the sheep ride, and he's never forgiven her. So. At a Marama rodeo.
Well, there you go. Yeah. But no, thanks for joining us here today, Muzz. It's always good to catch up with you, and it's glad you're doing well. And just for our viewers, we've got the Labor Day weekend rodeos are coming up. Winchester on the 25th, Methven's on the 26th. We've got rodeos, we've got Hawke's Bay at the end of November, remember that one. Then we start kicking things off on the 26th on Boxing Day. Lock in the national finals. It's going to be held at Wakawaiti in the South Island on around the 14th of March 2026. It's 2 big go-rounds. But this is another episode of the NZRCA TV. My name's Brent Cann. I'm catching up with the 1984 Rope and Tie champion, Mr. Murray Whitwell.
Thanks very much, Brett. Good on you.